Welcome back. So Northern Cape municipalities have a high incidence of irregular and wasteful expenditure amounting to 3.4 billion rand. According to the Auditor-General, 65% of municipalities in the Northern Cape did not have the liquidity to cover fixed monthly operating expenses for at least 1 month. Northern Cape Co-operative Governance Head of Department, Bafedile Lenkoe, joins us now to give us, I suppose, an update on what's happening in that province. Northern Cape municipalities, 3.4 billion rand. HOD, thank you so much for joining us. A good evening to you. It sounds like you're facing a very serious problem. How did we get here?
Good evening, Naledi, and let me convey my greetings to all your viewers throughout the country. No, indeed, as a department, the report from the AG is very much correct. With irregular expenditure also, it comes in different forms, where you'll find that now processes in terms of procurement are not followed. Then you'll find that now documentation is not also correctly filed. So it boils down to issues around the procurement. But at the end of the day, all those processes need to be followed in terms of the MFMA, because this is the MFMA function that we're talking about here. MMs are responsible. CFOs are supposed to ensure that now they submit credible annual financial statements to be audited. But however, investigations will have to follow to make sure that now assessment is done, investigation is done. Those that are responsible should be held accountable. But however, the council as a seat of decision making is very much important. But you'll find that now where councils are dysfunctional, then it poses a serious risk. Because the audit committee should ask ourselves now, where was the audit committee in this regard, where reports tabled also from the shared services model that we have adopted as province in the different districts. But we are hopeful that now the M-score requirements have to be complied with to ensure that now all those things pertaining to the irregular expenditure. But based on the audit action plan also, that municipalities are supposed to have adopted already out of the annual report that they have submitted through the AG also through the Department of Provincial Treasury. All those audit action plans will have to be monitored on monthly basis, reports be tabled also to the council as a follow-through.
No, because I'm wondering what the trickle down is where service delivery is concerned in some of these municipalities. But talk to me about the role of COCTA. You talk about some officials in those municipalities obviously needing to be held accountable. How many have been in this past year, for instance, been held accountable for irregular and wasteful expenditure that we see now has totaled hundreds of millions of rand in a province that is really made up of very poor communities there?
Yeah, no, you are correct, Naledi, that in terms of our revenue streams, the province is not doing well here as far as municipalities are concerned. Especially you can track it back as far as the COVID-19 period, where now there were retrenchments, people lost their jobs, unemployment rate. So, however, the municipalities are only now recovering from that particular period. But however, in the same breath is that now the province, because National Treasury use a formula that is called the 90-10, where now 90% of the income, the municipalities are supposed to raise it and collect. But then 10% comes from the equitable share. So we don't have enough resources as far as municipalities are concerned. That's why we have been raising this alarm to say that now there's a need to reverse the equitable share formula. That is not biased to the province. Northern Cape is very much to render service in the province here. So we are not defensive in ensuring that now those that have incurred that irregular expenditure must be held responsible. But the point is that now there has to be an assessment, investigation must be done. But squarely here now, the responsibility lies with the council. As a department, we've got an oversight responsibility in ensuring that now we work closely with the municipalities. But there is what is known as the Operation Clean Audit, led by our DG, Salga is part of it, the Provincial Treasury and us, moving from one municipality to the other in ensuring that now we ensure that now all those findings and recommendations that the AG found, they are implemented, and also there is a process that is being followed.
But
so definitely what I know is that now.
Yeah, but there's one thing to look at the balance sheet of municipalities in the province, HOD, and say, okay, well, this is what's wrong with the balance sheet operation, clean audit, let's get the numbers right. But from an operational point of view, if the money in the municipalities isn't managed correctly, you've got a big problem. I mean, I'm looking, for instance, as what the AG has said about how 73% of those municipalities in the Northern Cape would use next year's budget, half of next year's budget, to pay for the expenditure of previous years. So from an operational point of view, you've got a problem. So what is being done about those officials in those municipalities that are handling these balance sheets? Are we looking at the skills deficit perhaps that we might have? And are we seeing heads roll where the inadequacies are this extreme?
Now, it is obvious, Naledi, there is what is known as the committee that deals with those, the maladministration here and there, that is taking charge of that through the council. So all those committees, the sections with 9 committees, must be active to ensure that now the whole senior manager is responsible. So in terms of the balance sheet, it's not only the sole responsibility of the chief financial officers, because you go through the transaction files, requisition of services. They are not only done by the CFO. CFO is there based on the need from the relevant or the technical director, for example, human settlement, or the technical director for development and planning. So processes must be followed, but you cannot spend where you don't have the money for. So obviously, people have to cut their trousers according to the available material. If you don't have enough, you can't go and spend. So that's what we are emphasizing to them, going back to basic in terms of the strict fiscal framework. So we need to ensure that now we stick to that. But obviously, as I've said, the revenue stream of the province here and of the municipalities per se, it is not good, because we don't have enough. The equitable share formula is not biased towards the Northern Cape, as I've said. There's a high level in terms of also the unemployment. People cannot afford. I've just listened to you now talking about the water boards. We've got 8 municipalities that are owing the Val Central. But we had engagements already with the Val Central through the DM, that is Atolo, and also with the Minister Pemi, and the Premier also together with our MEC. That now we should go and ensure that now municipalities enter into the repayment plans, in ensuring that now there is no zero water challenge here, but we can guarantee the community that now we don't foresee that now in due course there will be committee members without water. Where there's a challenge like now, we have just seen the article around Pokwane, around Richie, where cable theft has been the issue. But municipality, because of their response, they have tried their level best to make sure that now water doesn't get disrupted to those community. But the Val Central, we are aware of that, and the department jointly with the municipalities, they are in discussion to deal with that matter.
Yeah. Well, we really do appreciate your time. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That there, Northern Cape Cooperative Governance Head of Department, Mr. Bafedile Lenkoe.